All right, so they say learning is fundamental, right? Like, doesn't matter what you talking about, like learning. That's not the important part about what you're trying to learn or what I'm trying to learn. Now, I'm gonna speak from my perspective on this. When it comes to learning, I feel like for me, I almost had to teach myself how to learn, right? Because it could be something that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to learn, and I could learn something about what I'm trying to do by someone talking about a topic that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to learn. But once I started to look at things on a broader scale when it comes to just listening to people talk, listening to videos, listening to things, the application of what they're saying is more important than the topic or the actual thing they're trying to get across when it comes to the information of what it is. And I got an example for this, which I will play. The example is from a cartographer, which is cartography is like people who build maps, not build maps, but basically do the map, make maps, and all of that. So he's a map maker, and he said something, and I was like, man, that is powerful when it comes to music creation. Of course, you look on one hand, you got a map maker, world renowned Smithsonian map maker, and you got music. And that's why I say, like, when I started to learn how to learn, it's like there's an art form almost to the art of learning something. Because it doesn't all just come, you're making music, you got to learn this from someone who makes music. No, and this is where I'm going right here. Just listen. It's a real quick clip. The video is probably about 8 minutes. But this one, whatever, 20-second clip stood out to me, and I'm holding on to this 20 seconds when it comes to, my future recordings, thinking of my past recordings, thinking of all of that. So let's listen to it real quick.
Can't put everything on a map because part of the process of map making is you're always deciding what not to include as much as you're deciding what to include because you just want to have the map reader focus on a particular subject.
This
So he starts off and he says, "You can't put everything on a map." Let's listen to it
Can't
again.
put everything on a map because part of the process of map making is you're always deciding what not to include as much as you're deciding what to include.
So when I'm listening to this, what I heard was you can't put everything on a song, but when you're making a song, it's more important. Dot dot dot. So now listen to this same clip, and every time he says map, interchange the word map with song, and y'all see what I'm talking
Can't
about.
put everything on a map because part of the process of map making is you're always deciding what not to include as much as you're deciding what to include because you just want to have the map reader focus on a particular subject.
this is best
And that's what I mean when it comes. And this may be very simple. It's a very simple, fundamental video when it comes to how the brain works and how the brain takes in the world around you and around really around me. Because this is not. I'm not trying to tell people, how to think. I'm just telling people kind of how I guess my brain is wired when it comes to listening to any and everything that I'm hearing. It's like I'm gonna apply it to whatever I need to apply it to make it give me mental value type of thing. So I don't know. I thought that was dope. I'm gonna play it one more time. I know it sounds is redundant, me playing it over and over, but when listening to this, if this is applied to music, it makes a lot of
Can't put
sense.
everything on a map because part of the process of map making is you're always deciding what not to include as much as you're deciding what to include because you just want to have the map reader focus on a particular subject.
this is best
So when it comes to a song, deciding what not to include as opposed to what you want to include and making that be what you want the song listener to hear is what you want to include. All the little stuff, you know, which I would call it filler. If we talking about in the context of a song, like the filler doesn't need to be there. And what this does, it makes song making a lot harder. It makes the process of making music a lot harder because the filler isn't there. It's just what you want people to focus on. And if it's just some words like a bar or two that's just filled in there to take up space, and it's no real, body to it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that, but this is. I really didn't have no true. I knew what I was gonna say on this video, but I didn't have no true angle for this. But I did want to play that clip because when I heard that clip, it kind of a light bulb went off in my head. It was like, I think I should talk about this. But I definitely think, to go back to the beginning, in conclusion, I definitely think when it comes to learning, there is an art form to learning. And it's not just A, B, C, D. There's little gray areas where learning can take place if the mind kind of applies uh, certain elements to the process. So, but yeah, man, I'm YJ, man. I'm up out of here.